This week on the Pop Culture Junkie podcast, we continue our Winona Ryder 101 class by watching the romantic tearjerker, Autumn in New York.
Fill me up with a barrel full of monkeys, as I hate being bored, Look me up, cause I'm such a junkie. Every day all I want is more. So entertain me right now. So entertain me right now.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Junkie podcast. I'm Nicole, and I'm here with my fellow junkies,
Hayley
and Shauna.
On this episode, we're looking at Autumn in New York, which pairs Winona Ryder with Richard Gere in a love story that will either make you cry or gag. Let's discuss.
I gagged. Definitely gag. Strong gag reactions in the Trinidad household. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'll say the same. I mean, I enjoyed it a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but it was definitely more cringe than it was good.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember watching this back when I was probably 17 or 18 and thinking it was kind of cute. And now at 35, it is not
as a grown
cute.
Woman.
Yeah, like I don't know what I was thinking. So yeah, definitely didn't enjoy it this time around.
I came home from work and I was like, oh, I have to watch this movie. Do you want to watch it with me? And he's like, absolutely not. I'm honest with you, Sean. I don't want to watch that with you. Mostly because we looked up the Rotten Tomatoes score and it has a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. So once I told him that, he's like, I'm out. I'm out. Enjoy. Fuck, all right. I guess I'll watch this by myself. It's just creepy. The whole movie is cringe and creepy, honestly. And no one kind of really seems like they want to be there. I don't know.
I kept telling my husband, like, who greenlit this as a concept? Like, who heard the story and thought, like usually you see a love story and you're like, there's some sort of message here. There's some important thing trying to be told. And I walked away from this like, I don't know what they wanted me to get out of that because I didn't get anything.
You know what I came away with it as is fucking spoiler alert for this movie. But if you're listening to it, you probably don't care. This whole movie, a woman dies in order to make a man a better person.
Yeah.
That was the entire movie.
Yes.
A woman dies at the end of the movie and Richard Gere gets the chance to reunite with his daughter and become a grandpa. So, and that's supposed to be a kind of a happy ending. They sail away in a rowboat together. And I'm like, no.
But do men really change? No.
Oh my God. Okay, let's start from the beginning of this movie, okay? It establishes really quickly that Richard Gere is a womanizing playboy restaurant owner. How old is he supposed to be?
46 or something? 48, 46?
48, yeah.
40.
And she's supposed to be 22. And he sees her at her 22nd birthday party at his restaurant. Ew. By the way, dear listeners, anytime we say ew in this episode, take a drink, honestly.
Or gross, or gag, or disgusting, or yikes.
Yes. Or ew men, something of that nature. And he's instantly like, I need to bang her. That's where he went. I mean, he's banging everyone else. Like, it establishes that he bangs, right?
Yeah.
So he's immediately it's like, this girl with the weird hat and all of her friends with weird hats. I'm going to do her.
What was interesting to me was that her character, about halfway through the movie, I was like, man, I'm really annoyed at how immature and silly she is. But then I thought about it and I was like, I was really immature and silly at 22. So I feel like it was a pretty accurate representation of 22. And I think I was only annoyed or bothered by it because I was supposed to believe that she was in this relationship with this 48-year-old man. And it wasn't believable because she was so childish. If that makes sense.
I completely agree. And he infantilizes her so much in this movie and talks to her like she's a child and like she's his daughter almost. And it's creepy because he knew her mom, and they established later on in the movie that I guess they didn't fuck. Because in our group text last night, I literally texted you two like, he fucked her mom? And then later the grandma had to explicitly say like, they never had sex.
But
Thanks,
she
Grandma.
wanted to. The mom wanted to.
Oh, she wanted to.
She was a good girl, right? But
can we also talk about that? Like, how he dated her mom and now she's dating him. I'm like, I could never picture myself dating someone my mom has dated.
Ew.
New.
Like,
Never in a million years. The closest I could get was my mom danced with Vanilla Ice at a nightclub one time. And I would dance with Vanilla Ice at a nightclub, but I would not date him nor
Everybody would do
anyone that my mom had ever dated. That's so gross.
No, you can't be Eskimo sisters with your own mom. You just
oh
can't.
my gosh.
So that leads to, speaking of group texts, right? So one of the first things is we were watching this that you guys said is we have to talk about what is our age limit, right? Because in the movie, there's supposed to be 24 years between them, 26 years.
He's old enough to be her dad, and they talk about it over and over again.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, we'll get back to that. So, yeah, 26
But
years.
if you and I were single, what would be our age limit?
So here's the interesting thing, and I text you guys this. I think part of why I liked this movie back when I was 17, 18 years old was like, I had the hots for Richard Gere, and he was like 50. So clearly, I've always kind of had a thing for older men. And if I'm being completely honest, if I was single now at 35, I would probably consider like dating up to like 50. I mean, David Harbour is almost 50. And like, yeah, hello.
Know.
So yeah, I would probably say like 50, 55.
Okay. All right,
crazy.
Nicole, you are single. What's your cutoff?
I am single. Thank you for mentioning that.
Hey, Nicole, you're single. How's that going?
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I'll be 20.
Men, she's single.
I'll be 25 in a month. So I'll say I'm 25. We'll go from that age. Okay. It's kind of like, I don't know. Oh my God, you guys are gonna like jaw drop, but
I have no
judgment.
job. I just said I would date a 55-year-old man.
yeah,
Nicole.
and I'm about to say I would date someone 45.
Okay.
20
so
years.
20 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like it all just depends too, like if he's well established, not like as in money wise, but just like has a good career, has, you know, his things and stuff figured out, then I'd probably say I'd say 45, but I don't think I can go above. I think the highest I could go is probably like 48 is probably what.
Okay.
But like once you hit 50, it's like, no, I'm so sorry. Like
You have nothing in common anymore.
Yeah.
They're twice your age
'cause
at that point.
too, I'm
literally
also
twice.
thinking like if I want kids, my kid's going to be 10 and you're going to be 60. Like that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You're going to be dead before our kid graduates college or high school. So I don't really want that. I mean, maybe like the life insurance policy will be good, but I don't know.
Nicole coming through with the Anna Nicole
Anna
Smith.
Nicole, that's what I said. That's your new nickname, dude. Anna Nicole.
Hey,
If he's 85 and super loaded and on the way out, then
Why the heck not?
Hugh Hefner, baby. Just kidding. Never.
Okay, so now, hypothetically speaking, so I'm 33 right now. If I was not married, I think that my cutoff would be 50. But they'd have to be like a hot 50.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I love a silver fox. There's a difference. Like, I would like fuck a guy in his 50s and like actually like introduce a guy in his 50s to my dad. That would be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like-
Paul Rudd is 53.
See, yeah, like I would fuck the shit out of Paul Rudd.
I mean,
But
Patrick
if I come-
Dempsey.
Yeah.
Gypsy's kind of old looking for me. I don't
He
know.
just dyed his
he
hair
just-
blonde, though.
Yeah, it's like white.
How old is Idris Elba? Because
Let's see. 50.
daddy, please. Okay, see, okay. All right.
See, it's
But
funny.
would I take home a 53-year-old to meet my father? He would be like, get out of my house right now. What are you doing?
See,
But when I was single at 21, I think my cutoff was like 35.
Okay, there's this guy that did come into my work. I would date him. I don't know how old he was, but I'm not going to say his name because.
Oh my God.
But
I hope he's listening. Hi.
he doesn't know.
Hey, older
but
man.
I mean, like, he's loaded and he was a silver fox, but
Hello.
he's married.
I love the
See,
silver fox.
I just
so
figured
much.
this out that David Duchovny recently like aged out of my like limit. Like my brother and I were talking and he's 62 and I was
Ooh.
like, you know what? He's finally like too old. Like to the point where I'm like, no. Like, but I don't know. Yeah, Paul Rudd,
Yeah.
53. I'm curious, what is your age gap, Shauna, with you and your husband?
3 months.
That's
He's
it?
literally 3 months older than me. Yeah,
Dang.
we're pretty similar. You got yourself an old man?
I mean, we have an 8-year age gap. So it's not.
I mean, okay, so you were like just learning how to read.
I was 12 when he was in college. Yeah.
Oh my
You
God.
could wipe your own ass when he was born, though.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, we've got a little bit of an age gap. I did appreciate the line in this movie where he was like, "I'm too old for you," and she's like, "I collect antiques." I was like,
Yeah, that was savage.
"That's
That
awesome."
was savage.
I'm going to use that on my husband. So yeah, no, but I think there is something to be said about the fact that like women mature faster than men.
Absolutely.
And it's
And I don't want to disparage anyone who's listening who's like, has a huge age gap and they're in love and they're very happy. If you are in a relationship that is consensual and like you guys are both happy and there's no weird power dynamics here going on, and then you know what? Who am I to yuck someone's yum?
yes. But this movie in particular, they keep referencing it over and over and over again about how weird it is and how
Yes.
he calls
They
himself
make
a
it weird.
creep. Yeah, they make it weird. They
Yeah.
make it weird. Absolutely.
Yeah. And he cheats on her.
Yeah, oh my God. Okay. So wait. Let's put that on hold for a minute because I know we're all gonna rant about that. Okay, so the whole thing starts with a lie, even if we're supposed to think, oh, it's so cute. He tells her he has a date that he needs a hat for because she makes these fucking awful hats / headbands. And he had already picked out a dress for her and he did the whole thing so she would go to the party with him, which she does. And the dress, we all agree on this, that dress is gorgeous.
It was
I
pretty.
did enjoy it.
It looked a little like a shower curtain, but it was pretty.
It reminded me of
She
like those
stood
sequin
out.
bags that like girls had when they were like younger. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like peak 2010.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was here for it.
Yeah, she like seduced him. Like afterwards they left and he like kind of pulled back and was like, "No, we shouldn't do this." And she was like, "No, we gonna do this." So in that respect, when we talk about power dynamics, I guess it was good in the sense that she actively pursued him, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. He set her up for this whole thing. He saw her barely legal to drink at his restaurant. He's very clearly wealthy. He knows that all of her friends are goo goo gaga over him. There's weird power dynamics in this movie for sure. She's literally dying.
Yeah. Also,
Spoiler.
too, when they were at the restaurant and her friend was like, yeah, she's 22 and never been kissed. And then they kiss and they never bring that back up. I'm like, was that really her first kiss? Or was that like a
I thought that
joke
was
to get
weird,
it?
too.
But I don't know. That's just something I thought of. I was like, huh. Because they never mentioned
That
it.
was a weird throwaway line. And then they have sex that night. So I'm like, did she lose her virginity to him? And did she die only having sex with this old man?
Right? Honestly.
God,
That
this awful
reminds
old
me
man.
of the tagline of the movie. I thought it was interesting because I got it on Amazon. It was streaming on Amazon. And it has like a tagline and it said, "He fell in love for the first time and she fell in love for the last." And I was like,
no.
wait, what?
Holy crap.
Oh, no.
Way to,
Like,
like,
that's supposed to make me want to watch this.
oh my God.
God.
gosh.
Oh, my God. I hate it so much.
Oh my God.
So I will say this. So we find out, right, that she's sick. She's dying. And so he's like, we shouldn't do this because it's weird. And she's like, I'm dying, so what the hell? We might as well, like, just be together until I'm dead. And for whatever reason, he's signs on for that, which I still think is very weird.
It's so weird because he's literally like, they've established that he's a playboy. He doesn't want a relationship. They go on one date. I mean, it's a cute date. She recites some weird poetry that she's memorized to him. But like that one date was enough for him to be like, like, this is her. Let's do this. Well, apparently not.
And the poetry throughout the movie, by the way, took me out every single time. She would recite something or he would recite something. I was like, what is this? This is not how people talk. This is stupid.
Okay, you guys, wait. 1 second. I'm going to put you both on this spot. Recite a poem off the top of your head right now. Anything you have memorized.
Roses are red, violets are
Hayley.
blue. You are cute. Go take a poo. There.
That was adorable, and now we're in love.
The great Walt Whitman.
Emily Dickinson would be so proud. Oh my God.
She's turning in her grave.
We broke Hayley.
I'm joking.
Okay, Hayley, your turn.
I don't see, and that's the thing. I'm an English teacher. You asked me to recite a poem. I don't know. I don't have any.
got nothing?
No, I got one. Hold on.
All right.
I've done it. Guess what I've done? I've invented a light that plugs into the sun. The sun is bright enough. The bulb is strong enough. But there's only one thing wrong. The cord ain't long enough.
Oh, that's
I memorized that. I memorized that in the 2nd grade.
Dang.
And that's the
really
only thing
good.
that has stuck with me.
When your husband was in
since
college, he'd be proud.
Right?
Also, if you're going to choose a poet to dress up as for Halloween, make it freaking Edgar Allan Poe, not like podunk, boring Emily Dickinson. Oh my God. That was not doing her any favors.
It was not. And also, I don't know any poems. I know the Lord's Prayer.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
Okay, so they start to date, and I guess they establish titles pretty quick. Are they boyfriend, girlfriend? Super fast, right?
Well, what's interesting is they're together for a little bit, right? They go to the Halloween party with her fugly costume.
Oh, let's talk about this Halloween party.
She reads to the children, which we still don't know why that ended up being her job.
I think because she's closer to their age than she is the adult's age, so she had more of a bond with them.
She's like, I love this book too. Well, she recites fucking Emily Dickinson to them, and these kids are bored out of their minds.
She's like,
I guess if you want to
look at my stupid hats?
They're like, who the fuck is this woman in our bedroom? Why is this strange woman in our bed? Like, get out of here. So yeah, all the grown-ups get to be upstairs drinking, and then all the kids are going to bed, and she has to randomly read them stories. And then Will's ex-girlfriend is randomly there, I guess.
Dressed as Audrey Hepburn, looking super hot. Of course you're going to sleep with Audrey Hepburn instead of Emily Dickinson. That's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. So they go up on the roof, and I guess they fuck on the roof.
Gross.
And I want to know what position this was. They came down the ladder. They didn't look disheveled. Everybody was like, did he just... Was it a stand? I don't know. I wish we could have seen that scene where they got on the roof and they're like, hey, so my day is reading stories to the kids.
And what a mess. What a mess that would have made.
Oh my God.
They don't address this in film.
Men listening, this should go without saying. If you take a date to a party, don't fuck someone else at said party.
It's pretty obvious.
Just don't do it. Just don't
Especially
do it.
if the date that you bring is dying. You couldn't wait it out?
Yeah.
She's got like a couple of months left, bro. It's Halloween. She's going to die like right around Christmas. Just keep it in.
You know what, though? The little note that she wrote him that he has to read afterwards about, like, you know, it's the scariest night of the year, and the scariest thing that I can think of is, like, what if I never met you? I was like, dang, that was cute, and you a hoe, and I hate Richard Gere.
He was disgusting in this movie, and he didn't deserve her. And it's the tragedy of this movie is that she dies only being with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we also talk about how when they're kind of establishing what they're going to be, and he was like, well, I don't really want a relationship, but we can keep doing this until it ends. Kind of saying, like, until you die, we can continue this. I'm like, Jesus, dude, like, have a little heart.
Well, and then
he makes a lot of insensitive comments throughout the movie about that kind of stuff, and so does she. I mean, she's allowed to say it because it's about her, I guess, but they're always just kind of like, oh, when I date the next chick. And I'm like, all right, I don't get, what are you all doing? Like, are you in love? Are you just casually dating? Have you set up? I mean, obviously, okay, blanket statement. If you bring a date to a party, don't have sex with someone else at the party. Yeah. But were they exclusive?
Well, that's like when they're in the car and he lies to her saying that nothing had happened.
He does it so well.
He does, really creepy, yeah. But then he goes, why would I do that or whatever? And she's like, because you have a girlfriend. And then he says, isn't that for me to say? Like, shouldn't I be the one to get to decide if you're my girlfriend? And I'm like, you guys have been together like a while at this point.
Yeah.
And then his whole excuse as to why he did it, and he was scared and he didn't want to be emotionally invested. Like, you knew what you were getting into, and you're supposed to be the grown man in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And tell every man anywhere who cheats, I was scared. Oh,
gag.
Shut up. Gag. Ew. And then he totally gaslights her and breaks up with her and is like, oh, you're so immature. I should have known this was going to happen. And then he dumps her after he cheated on her. It makes it seem like she did something wrong.
My absolute least favorite part of the movie is that fight in the street when she gets out of the car and he's like, yeah, I guess I'm just terrible. And I turn to my husband and I go, did he just make himself the victim of this situation?
Exactly.
He cheated on her.
Oh, my.
That was...
And then he was looking for her to comfort him in that moment.
See, and herein lies the main issue of the film. I will say that when he comes back, he goes through his thing, he comes back, he tries to apologize, she yells at him. That fight scene is really good. Like, when she's like, get out of here, I'm like, you know what, that was well acted. The whole thing was well acted. And I will say that from that point where he's like, let me love you, to the end of the movie, there is a lot of... as far as the acting goes, and even as far as their characters, like, there's a lot of believability in, like, this love and romance aspect. Like, there's a lot of pain there when ultimately at the end, when she dies, spoiler alert for this 22-year-old film, ultimately when she dies, like, there's a lot of believability in, like, the pain and all of that. But by that point, it was too late. All of the rest of it had messed it all up.
So, like, the last half of the movie is really focused on her being sick and dying and him trying to save her and them expressing, you know, he begs her for forgiveness. He whispers in his ear that he's in love with her. But at this point, like you said, it's too late. We've already watched him be shitty. We've already established that he lies compulsively to her and that he's really good at it. And then all of a sudden we're supposed to be rooting for him and think this is romantic and sweet. Like... okay, can we talk about the sex scene, too?
Oh, I was laughing. I was laughing so hard.
It's so cringy. Yeah. Okay, so if anybody's listening who wasn't alive in... what year did this come out?
2000.
There was a period in time where it was really popular to have sweaty handprints, like steaming handprints for sex scenes.
Titanic.
Like, that's how you knew this shit was hot. Yeah, this shit's hot when there's, like, a steaming handprint. It reminded me, oh, you guys haven't seen The Room. So I interviewed Greg Sestero, and he's in the worst movie of all time, The Room. And one of the things that makes it so bad are these extended, very cringy sex scenes that go on way too long. And they have roses, and they're like rubbing roses on each other. And that she takes a leaf in this movie.
Oh, she does.
And like... rubs a leaf on him.
A leaf? I was like, what is happening?
Like, where's she?
I've been married 11 years. Time. Not once have I rubbed a leaf on my husband. Never.
I am going to grab a fake flower tonight, and I'm going to seduce my husband and rub it gently down his body.
Yeah, and
then he's going to sleep on the couch.
I was laughing because the whole sex scene is done behind this weird, like, I don't know, what would you even say? Crystallized.
Beveled glass.
Yeah, beveled glass.
Yeah.
And I was laughing so hard. And
Where were they? Whose house was that?
I don't know. I was like, are they in the bathroom? Like, what? How did they get there?
The restaurant.
And no one knows.
They're in the restaurant.
Well, my husband goes,
Ma'am.
My husband goes, well, I guess that's
This is a Wendy's.
He goes, I guess that's what you got to do if you want to have PG-13 sex, is it's got to be done behind this weird foggy glass. And I was like, I guess. But it was so weird because like you couldn't see both of them at the same time. So at one point it looked like she was just like being attacked from behind and trying to escape.
Anytime he kissed her too, he'd like gently nuzzle his Richard Gere nose on her ever so softly. And then sometimes she'd kiss him and he just looked like he wasn't even moving. He's not even kissing her back. His lips were just completely still.
Here's the thing too, is that Richard Gere happens to be one half of, I think, probably my favorite sex scene in all of film, which is in Pretty Woman. I absolutely love that movie, and I love him in it. And this, like,
he's a sex icon.
So
like
sexy
Richard Gere is
and
kind of a sexual icon. Yeah,
this dull. I don't know. The chemistry wasn't there.
They did not. The chemistry was not there. He had more chemistry with her grandma in their scenes together than he did with her. Honestly,
There was one scene where they were kissing. I don't remember where at in the movie, but it was they were kissing, and his mouth was like puckered, whereas her mouth was open, so his whole mouth was like inside hers. I was like, what is happening? This is not a French kiss. This is like you're sucking him.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Because I remember being like, ew.
Yeah.
I've been watching movies and really like, okay, so I was out of town over the weekend and I spent a lot of time in my hotel room away from my coworkers. Sorry, guys. And I watched Never Been Kissed and I watched The Proposal. And movie kisses are weird. That's not how real people kiss. Like, I don't know. It's just like long, extended periods of just kind of sucking on each other's mouths. I don't know. That's just not how. Maybe I haven't had a first kiss in a really long time, but that's not how I remember it.
I feel like growing up is appreciating like awkward sex scenes in movies. Like I feel like when I was younger, I wanted some really like romantic, picturesque, steamy handprint kind of thing. And then being an adult and being married, now I'm like, I want the awkward aftermath. I want the like weird, what do we do now?
I like it when she has to get up and pee and when she has to walk to the toilet with her legs together, like, don't look.
The waddle.
And then he has to take up the condom and be like, where should trash?
Any semblance of reality is appreciated. Anything at all.
Yes.
We are feeding these young children lies when they see
If somebody sneezes halfway through, like, come on, guys.
Oh my goodness.
These things happen.
Or when the woman's like, oh crap, I didn't shave my legs.
Yes. When she knows she's about to get fucked, so she's like, one moment, and like runs to the bathroom and grabs a shaver real fast.
Yeah, we need more of that. More of that, less leaves to the face.
We skipped over that he's got a secret daughter.
Yeah. You know why? Because it was skippable. I love Vera Farmiga, but like that whole plot
gorge.
made no sense.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the doctor is J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay. But yes, she dies.
Yeah.
And then, my least favorite part of the movie, I wrote down their last words that they ever say to each other before she dies.
A bird's feather.
Well, he whispers that. He memorizes some dumbass poem too. And she looks gorgeous on her deathbed. I would be like shitting myself, like drooling. And she just looks like a little forest nymph. So he's whispering to her with his Richard Gere nuzzle. And then the last thing they ever say to each other before she dies is she goes, "What have I done to you?" And he goes, "You've ruined me for future women." And she goes, "I've saved them from you," or something. And then she goes off and dies. And that's the last thing they ever say to each other.
Yeah.
It's like, "I'm going to have sex with other women someday. You're welcome."
It was terrible.
And then she dies.
Yeah. It was really bad.
I just want to know, the doctor had like absolutely no blood on him.
He was just really sweaty.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Grey's Anatomy is just coming out in me, but I was just like, how do you have not like one drop of blood on you from doing an open heart surgery kind of?
And they're like, he's a miracle worker. She died.
Yeah.
Like, what
it
was
was
the point?
terrible.
It's probably for the best.
She could have just, I don't know. It's
And
for
to
the
Nicole's
best.
point, it would have been, it's for the best. To Nicole's point, it would have been metal as fuck if the doctor came out just smeared with blood, just covered with blood, like, oh,
Gere walks in mid-surgery. There's like a fountain spurting out of her.
Cut an artery.
He's holding her still beating heart in the palm of his
like,
hand.
The bird's feather. Ba-boom.
Oh my god.
Get out. Get out.
Oh,
Dude, I would watch the hell out of that movie. Let's remake it.
That sounds like a sick ass movie. He shoves
Autumn
it back in her just
in
in
New
time.
York this fall.
these are their
Things are gonna
stories.
get
Dun,
metal.
dun.
Dun, dun.
Anyways, bringing Sarah Farmiga up again. I was really waiting for her to be like, oh my god, your grandson, Charlie. You know, as in like reference to Charlotte. I was really expecting her to say that. And I was gonna be
that
like,
would have been cute.
oh, I thought it would have been dumb. Because every time every time he looks at the kid, he's going to think of her and be like, wow, she's dead. Like, what?
He's gonna be like, damn, she was hot.
Yeah, right?
Yo,
Okay,
I scored a 22-year-old. She was hot.
he's like, dear grandson, let me tell you this story of the time I banged a 22-year-old till she died.
That's who you're named after. I killed her with how good I was.
Let me tell you about this bomb ass 22-year-old. Listen,
You're a legend, Grandpa.
fucked a girl to death,
Oh.
Grandpa.
We forgot to talk about the watch.
Oh, the watch was kind of
That
cute.
was cute.
Yeah, there were a couple, honestly, there were like a couple moments like the watch and the whole like let me love you thing and he's like crying. There were like a couple moments where I was like, oh, this is tender. It just overall was too terrible.
Yeah.
Also, I realized when they were fighting and she was like, Will, and she yells at him like twice.
Oh,
and
I was thinking, I know where you're going.
I go, what? Why does that sound so weird? And then she does it again and goes, Will. And I go, my son, Will. Has anyone seen my son? It was awkward.
Oh, I was thinking more Stranger Things.
Yeah, exactly. Because her son is Will. Because she kept yelling it. And I was like, wait, why have I
Yeah.
heard Winona Ryder yell Will before?
Exactly.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
took me out of the film.
Me too.
I hated her haircut.
It could have been cute, but it was too
Yeah.
weird and wispy
Yeah.
or something.
I think it was also like right after Girl Interrupted. So I think she had the same.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Do we
Alright.
want to do some quotes?
All right, hold. I will be Creeper Will in the first quote.
First one.
Okay, Nicole, do you want to do it?
Sure, I'll be Miss Charlotte.
Do it.
This isn't right. You are,
Young,
yes, and I am
old,
older.
much older.
All right, much older. The point is, I could put this off, but I genuinely like you. So I want to be clear from the start, so there's no confusion later on, okay? What I want to say to you is that all I'm able to offer you is this, what we have right now. Nothing more, until it ends. What I mean is, we have no future.
I know. I'm sick.
Okay, Mean Girls.
What do you mean?
It's my heart. Nobody even thought I'd last this long. I could have put off telling you, but I genuinely like you. And I wanted to be clear right from the start, so there was no chance for any confusion later.
And that is the entire plot of the film. You're welcome.
Yep, that's it.
Literally.
That's about it. Skip the movie. Okay. I want to be Daddy in this one.
Oh.
Daddy.
Daddy. Ew.
Daddy. Hayley, do you want to be Charlotte?
Okay, I'll be Charlotte.
We're totally wrong for each other. I know. I could be your father.
I prefer uncle.
Do you think we should break this off?
Afraid you might feel something? Well, look at it this way. We can have it real, which we both know is way better. And you wouldn't have to pay full price, because in a year or so, I'd just be a sob story you could use to bag more chicks.
That is a pathetic characterization, but also completely true.
Wow, these quotes are so bad. They really represent how awful the movie is.
Okay, I want to be Charlotte in the last one now. All right, Nicole, now you get to be Will.
Okay. Look, I never pretended to be what I'm not.
Why?
Why? All right, fine. Why? Because I felt like it. Because nothing stopped me.
What about love?
Why do you have to be so juvenile? It was nothing. It was nothing. It meant nothing. If I could be different, I would.
What about love?
You know what? This was all wrong. This was a mistake right from the beginning. You're a kid. I'm a creep. You've got better things to do with your time than spend it with a man like me.
He's right.
That's good. Yes.
That was so gross.
Oh, what a film.
What a film.
A film. This is also, by the way, just kind of fun fact, one of the last starring roles that Richard Gere had, like in a major film. I was looking up his filmography.
Really?
Yeah, after this, he had a couple action films. Arbitrage was one. He had a couple. And
I like him in Chicago.
Yeah, and that was all kind of right around between 2000 and 2008. He had he was kind of booming in a bunch of things, and then afterwards, kind of nothing. So this was like in the last hurrah of his career.
Damn.
And also right before Winona got arrested.
Right? This was kind of both of their last hurrahs a little bit. Well, at least Winona for a minute, I should say, because she back, baby.
And Winona now is the same age that like Richard Gere was when they made this movie.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dang.
It's weird.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to grade
Yeah.
Ye Old Movie?
All right. So for the movie grade, it wasn't like totally awful. We obviously talked about a couple good parts. So for me, I'm going to have to give it a D-. Doesn't deserve a full F because, like we said, there were some good parts there. The 2 parts that happened for like 2 seconds. And I don't want to fail it as a whole. But it's got to be like risking its life to pass for me in my class. So I'm going to have to give it a D-. They're going to have to work a little bit harder to pass.
I like it. All right, Hayley.
Yeah. I recently put up on Instagram my least favorite movies of all time, one of which is one of Shauna's favorite movies of all time.
Oh my God. I just watched that movie last weekend, which is hilarious. And then you posted that. And I was like, I thought I liked Hayley.
Yeah, so
The movie's Josie and the Pussycats, by the way, with Rachel Lee Cook
Great movie.
and Rosario Dawson. Thank you, Nicole, a woman of fine taste.
I was the purple one for Halloween a very long time ago. I will send a picture when I find one.
Oh my God.
Me and my sisters
You
were the
guys,
3
we should do it sometime.
this Halloween.
That would be so cute, you
That would
guys.
be cute.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to movies. Like I don't need genius. I just need to be entertained. This one, however, was brutal. And so I will give it, if not for the fact that I still think Richard Gere is a very attractive old man and I love our girl Winona, I would have given it a worse grade, but I will give it a D+.
I'm going to give it a straight D. Yeah. Just like Will gave to Charlotte before she died.
That should be the tagline for the movie.
Right? This movie earns a straight D. Yeah, it was a movie. It's not the worst one I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay, Harry Styles.
It was a movie.
This was like
My favorite thing about movies is that it was like a movie. It
was like a
It just
movie.
felt like a movie.
Yeah.
When you see a movie and it's a movie.
It's a movie, total movie.
So that movie was such a movie, man. Bro, that movie, though, is a movie. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
How do we grade Winona?
So this movie made me realize that, especially just watching these kind of all in a row, Winona plays very similar characters. Like, despite the fact that, Lydia is pretty different, from her character in the Heathers and whatever. Like, on the surface, they're different. But when you watch them all back to back, they're all kind of these, like, in your head.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yes, Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Yeah, they're these moody, like recites poetry, writes in their journal kind of girls. And this one in particular, I was just like, I don't want that. I don't want any other characterization. I do think that this movie could have been successful if A, they quit talking about the age gap every 5 seconds and made it so creepy, and B, they had Charlotte be a little bit more of almost a little bit more worldly and a little bit more just like, hey, I've got a cool like head on my shoulders and I know what I'm getting myself into kind of thing. But because she was this manic pixie dream girl and I'm going to recite poetry and, you know, brush your face with a leaf.
And wear weird hats. And,
it just took me out of it. I was like, this is not a believable relationship in any sense. So I think this would have been a good time for her to ditch that common characterization that she has played. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to give her like a B-. B-, yeah.
I'm going to give her a C, you guys. I didn't believe her at all in this movie. It felt like she was just kind of floating around and saying lines, but like I didn't believe in any moment that they were truly in love or that she was dying. I don't care how many times she fell over. She never felt like I'm a dying person. I don't know. Nothing in it was believable. I love Winona Ryder. She's adorable. This was not her finest work.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Shauna. I was going to go with a C. Just because what we talked about earlier, the whole poetry stuff, that was just too much. It was pretty unnecessary, honestly. And the whole age gap thing, kept talking about it. And yeah, definitely coming off of Girl Interrupted to this, where I think Girl Interrupted is my top one-on-one movie we've watched for anybody yet this far. And coming to this movie, which has probably been one of the worst movies we watched in our 101, it's just...
She's keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, so I agree with Shauna. It's not her best work at all, but she took what she was given.
Also true.
Autumn in New York was directed by Joan Chen, written by Allison Burnett, and released in 2000 by MGM Studios. Now, where can the people find you both on social media?
You can find me, Hayley, on Instagram at 30NerdyThriving.
You can find me, Shauna Trinidad, on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Shauna Trinidad, Shaunatrinidad.
And you can find me, Nicole, on Instagram and TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge and on Twitter at NAEldridge14. You can find all of our links at our website, popculturejunkie.com, and be sure to join the Pop Culture Junkie support group on Facebook. Shout out to Patreon supporter Callie. Get ready for our next Winona Ryder 101 lesson by watching Destination Wedding, and come back next week for another hit of pop culture.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group.
So why don't